Hello, and welcome to the Spa Authors Podcast Academy Podcast. My name is Tammy Montgomery Dozier, and I am your host for today. Let's talk about our podcast a little bit. This is a monthly podcast that is provided by Spa USA. We are a speaking, publishing, and authors association, and we get together and we have our authors come on once a month. They are local, national, global. So I'm very excited to have one of our authors because we just finished a book collaboration, which SPA does every year, and we include all type of authors. So today I am happy to announce my special guest, Miss Dakota Kelley. Hello, Miss Kelley. How are you today?
I am good, Miss Tammy Dozier.
Thank you. I'm so excited to have you on here today. So can you tell us a little about who Miss Kelley is?
Dakota Kelley is actually my pseudonym for my fiction novels. And I write under that name. You know, who is that? J.D. Robb is the pseudonym of, I can't think of her name, so I shouldn't have brought her up.
Rawlings, the one who does Harry Potter.
No.
Not her? Okay.
No, I can't think of her name. She's a very famous author.
Okay.
But you know how it is. It's right there on the tip of your tongue, but you can't say it. So, yeah.
Okay. All right, so what made you decide, like, I did read your part of the book, and let's go there first. And I loved it. I was like so mad that I have to wait for the actual book to come out. So Let's talk about your book. Can you tell us what is it about, and give us the name as well, the portion of the book?
The name of the book is called Hell in the House.
Okay.
And what it's about, it's a fictional story about abuse in the church, how women are abused in certain churches, certain denominations. Women have to take the subservient role. Men are the head of the house. You do what they say because they said it. You don't question them, And I saw a lot of that. And the thing that really bothered me about it wasn't so much physical abuse, because it wasn't physical. It was more mental, spiritual, emotional, financial. It was more those type of abuses. And people think that abuse that you can't see does more damage than the physical abuse that you can see. Mm-hmm. And women go through all that and people think, what's wrong with her? Something's wrong, but they don't even realize that she is being abused. And a lot of that goes on in some of these churches. So I fictionalized the story.
I was part of a big denomination church, and some women were telling me that exactly the same thing you were saying. Well, it was a group. It was a small group that we would get together in. And women would say that they would actually go to some of the pastors of the church and some of the deacons and different things and tell them about they were being abused. And they were telling them to stay in their marriage.
Yeah.
That it's going to work out and all those. Do you touch? I know the first part, I was kind of upset on the first part. It was like, whoa. but
that wasn't even the first part of the book.
It wasn't. Oh my God.
No, that wasn't even the first chapter. That was just an excerpt from a chapter down the road somewhere.
Oh, wow. Oh, so we know about what happened prior to what happened at that particular part. So
right.
A rundown. Oh, awesome. Okay. Right. So did you find that as well, that they were telling these people, stay in your marriage, although you are being abused, and that's the woman's role to stay with her husband and be the helpmeet? Did you find that as well?
Yeah, in fact, I talked with a lady who, she's much older now. And years ago, when it was really prevalent, she had gone to her pastor and he pretty much told her the same thing. And we found out that when her husband actually passed away, she was so deficient in a lot of areas. She didn't have a debit card because he told her she didn't need one.
Wow.
And she couldn't even make a decision on her own. And then I met another lady who she had a bunch of children, and her husband, he would, go out with his friends and do what he wanted, but she had to stay home and take care of the children. And I remember once she told me that her mother-in-law came to visit, so they had dinner at her house, but the mother-in-law and her husband and her father-in-law, they all went out for dessert, but she had to stay home. There's several stories that I've heard.
So is that something that because you wrote this book, is that something that's always bothered you within the church? So you
Yes.
decided to give it a voice?
To give it a voice, and also because people think that abuse is only physical.
Yes.
And they'll talk about emotional abuse, but when it's staring them in the face, they don't even realize that that's what it is. A woman can go through something emotional, and at the most inopportune times, it comes out. She might be out and do something that doesn't seem like it makes sense. But what she's doing is trying to keep herself together because she knows what she has to go home to. Or, I just realized that abuse is abuse, no matter what form it takes. And again, I did want to give it a voice. I wanted people to know that this type of stuff goes on, but also I wanted women to know that they do need to find their own voice in their own marriage.
Definitely. So so you said I was further down in the book. Are those two characters, like the ones that were named, are those like the main characters that we're talking about throughout?
Actually, the book is about 3 women.
Okay.
2 of the women are in church. They go to pretty much the same type of church, but there are a few differences. One is a pastor's wife. One is just a wife who feels like she's between a rock and a hard place. She can't go anywhere. She can't do anything. She just feels stuck. The other one is a pastor's wife who pretty much does whatever he says. He wants the perfect, Proverbs 31 wife, where she does all these great things for her husband and he doesn't want for anything. Yeah. So she's trying to live up to that image. And this third one, the one you read about, she was in a church like that. But when that incident happened to her and she didn't get any support, she left. Okay. She's the more feisty one of the 3 women.
Very good. I love it. When can we expect for this to come out? Because I can't wait. I truly enjoyed it.
I was actually hoping it would be out by the end of the year, but I would think, but it has to go back through editing. So probably February, March.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome. Awesome. So do you think, like with this, because we don't talk about it, and I think for me, I think emotional abuse is worse than physical. Physical can heal. Emotional can last forever. What is it that once this has a voice, what else do you think, or what else do you want to do with it once you give it this voice?
I want to wake women up is what I want to do. You can be in a happy marriage, but everybody has to give 100%.
Right.
If you're only giving 50, then don't complain when you only get back 50.
That's very true.
If you're giving 100, then you should expect 100 back. But the thing is, I don't want women to feel that they have to walk behind their husbands. I want them to know that they're supposed to walk beside their husbands,
Yes.
you know, not in front, not behind, but next to, heart to heart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I watched my grandmother. My grandmother was the old school woman, and she didn't talk much and she didn't complain. She just did whatever her husband asked her to do. And I saw that. And it wasn't that I saw anything bad. I just knew
Right.
that I just didn't want that for myself in seeing that. So, but they stayed married for 73 years until she passed away.
Yeah. Well, what also can happen is sometimes your grandmother grew up during a time when the whole country, the whole world was pretty much, doing that
Yeah.
as far as, but still, even in that, I mean, she was pretty much like just trained. Okay, this
Right.
is how it goes. But I remember growing up, and my mother had the role of, stay at home mom, and my dad, he went out to work and all of that, and she pretty much she had a voice, but she was still there at his beck and call. You know, he wanted this, so she did it. He wanted this done for him, so she did it. But it got to a point where she said, enough is enough. She pretty much said, okay, we're going to work this together or it's not going to work at all. And I remember my great grandmother, she used to talk to me a lot. And she told me one time, she said, she and my great grandfather had gotten into it, or something happened between the two of them. And she told him, she said, look, Joe, you're not beholden to me and I'm not beholden to you. So you're going to either get it together or we're not going to be together.
Wow.
And this was like years ago, okay? She was born in the 1800s. So when I heard that, I used to always think, I want to be like her when I grow up. She was a feisty old woman.
Wow, that's beautiful. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Does my sound distorted to you? Am I okay? Can you hear me okay?
When you speak, you're okay, but I do hear some distortion.
Okay. Yeah, I was
later.
All right. So we come across, because of the organization and because you were a part of this because you're a part of this book collaboration, we've seen some like very talented people that come through. And because you are a writer, you're excellent. I love to read I love your flow. I love everything about your writing. Why do you think that what do you think is holding people back from their success or getting out there writing and doing the different things? Or what advice would you have for people who want to write and feel stuck?
Well, one thing I would say is they need to just write. Don't think about it as far as, oh, today should I write? Or just get out there and write, and do not, under any circumstances, do not write and edit at the same time. You need to just let it flow, because the time to edit will come. The first draft it always looks bad. I mean, sometimes some of it doesn't make sense, but that's okay, because what you're trying to do is to get it out there. And so once you get it out there, the next thing I would highly, highly suggest is to get an editor. A lot of times what people will do is they'll write it and they'll give it to a friend or, somebody who they think, is a good reader, but they're not editors. Editors are trained to find things and to look for things that the normal eye wouldn't see. And even after getting it edited, I mean, there still may be a mistake in it, but at least you get it edited. And if you are a fiction writer, I would definitely suggest, first of all, a developmental editor. And a developmental editor looks at it and looks at the story and makes suggestions as to how to enhance the story if it needs that, because it may not need it. But they'll look at the story. Then the line editor would be the one to look at the grammar, because if I gave it to just a friend, all they're going to do is look for spelling mistakes or grammar mistakes. A lot of them don't even know about the dialogue tags, or how to, what do you call it? The interior design of it. They don't even know to even look for that. So I would just suggest to write and edit after you write. And then once you have finished editing it, you give it to another editor.
Yeah, I know. After I wrote my first book, and with the editor, I had to go back and have it because I thought it wasn't edited good enough. So I had to go back and redo it, the whole thing all over again. It had already been published, and I had to go back and re-edit the entire book, because that's the worst thing you can do. I mean, because you don't have to be the greatest writer in the world. That's why you have an editor. But the worst thing you could do is put out that type of product. And, people that are your friends, they're going to buy the book, but they might not buy another one.
Exactly.
So,
and they buy it and they start to read it and they see all the mistakes and they throw it to the side.
Right. And they're like, well,
girl, that book was good.
Right. So I appreciate you talking about that, because people don't know that there are different type of editors. There's a different editor if you're writing fiction versus nonfiction. So you need those. So yeah, I do appreciate you letting people know about that. So what is in the future? I know you have a lot of things going on. So let's talk about the other things that you have going on besides this book, if you would like to share, Miss Kelley.
Well, let's see what's going on. I am trying to finish another book. Then I'm trying to finish. Well, I need to start my dissertation. I finished the coursework.
Okay.
And so now I need to start the dissertation. I have some other stories in mind. Yeah. So, and then, I always had my my company, Water Lilies and Chocolate, where, it's facial products and bath products. And I was working on something for that, which pretty much got pushed to the back burner, but I need to get back onto that. So those are some things that I need to finish before the year is out. I have a coach. I got a life coach. Okay. And he's really good. He's really, really good. And he said something to me that resonated, because I told him, the things that were on my plate. And he said, how long have you been working on these things? And I said, oh, I don't know, but it's been a while. And he said, and you carried that, it's been over a year. I said, yeah. He said, and you carried that from last year into this year. And I thought about it. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, I don't want to carry these things into next year. I never really thought about it like that. It was just that things kept coming up, so I would push it back. But it's definitely a weight, because I feel like I can't go forward the way I need to because I have all this stuff. So yeah, that was a pretty good eye opener for me.
Good. So with this book, the one that you have, There's Hell in the House, is there going to be another part to it as well? Or are you just stopping at the one? Or are you going to make it a series?
I'm writing it so that it could be a series.
Okay.
But so far it's standing on its own, and it's called Hell in the House.
Right.
So it could be Hell in the Church House,
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
But it could be a series because that's the way I'm writing it. It's going to be open at the end, but it stands on its own so that if I don't turn it into a series, it stands on its own.
So with everything that you discussed, what is it that you want to leave behind for everybody to know, whether it's the book or whatever it is, your journey, what you've learned, what is it that you want to say to everybody?
Now that is a very good question, Miss Tammy Dozier. What do I want to leave behind? I guess what I would say is during these days and times, the most important thing is to make sure that we have a relationship with God. That's the most important thing, because this is so much uncertainty in the world.
Yes.
But God has always been that constant. He's always been the same yesterday, today, and forever. And since we don't know, the next steps, what's gonna happen tomorrow, if we just hold on to him, whether we know what's gonna happen or whether we don't know what's gonna happen, we know that if we have him, everything is gonna be okay.
That is very
So that's what I would like to leave, that everybody make sure they get their lives straightened out with God. And if it's already straight, just hold on and don't let go.
That's it. So true. So if we want to get in contact with you and we want to purchase this book and we want to purchase whatever it is that you have coming out, how will we do that?
I'm on Facebook, Dakota Kelley Writes. My email is dakotakwrites@gmail.com, Instagram at Dakota K Writes.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ms. Kelley. I truly enjoyed speaking with you today.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for being a part of the Spot Authors Academy. You can catch us every third Saturday of the month. All right, everybody, have a great day. Thank you.